Hi, this is Dan Bullard, retired electronics engineer, sitting on the front deck of my houseboat. It's windy and a little bit warm. It's going to be a good swimming day today. I want to tell you why I think Excel is a great tool. And it has to do with the fact that other people's tools don't live forever, you know. A lot of tools die off easily, and it's like unbelievable how it happens. One time I was in Europe, I was teaching a class on the SDS 3000 in Germany, in Munich, and I always enjoy those trips. You know, Munich was kind of fun. But they got a hold of me and said, hey, we need you to come to Oudenaarde in the Netherlands and teach a class on TesterTools. TesterTools was a tool for dealing with the tester on the SDS 6000, which was a digital-only tester. That was their main product, their early on product. It was they ran something called NFAC, which was an enhanced version of Factor, which was for the Century series of testers. So it was kind of a low-end 10 megahertz digital tester, but they had this thing, TesterTools, which was a GUI that would let you go in and fiddle with the tester to debug things and stuff. And my buddy Frank Levine was an apps engineer trying to sell TesterTools. One time he was giving a demo with a customer, and he ran into a problem doing the demo, which you got to make sure your demo works before you have a customer over. And the customer was sitting there, why hasn't Frank started TesterTools? I mean, that's the obvious way to figure this problem out. He's asking the salesman. And Frank overheard him and he says, if I use TesterTools, it'd take me a day to figure this out. Anyway, back to my story. So I went to Oudenaarde, and I didn't have a rental car. I had to fly from Munich to Amsterdam. Didn't have a rental car. And so Jan Peters and Richard Kahn picked me up and took me down to Oudenaarde, got me a hotel, dropped me off, and left me alone. So I was there for like, I think 3 days to teach this class on TesterTools. And it went okay the first day. And they had a whole bunch of questions and they wanted a bunch of enhancements on TesterTools. And they said, so can you like let us know, are these, you know, requests for enhancements going to get addressed? I'm like, I'll let you know. So I called up the factory back in Fremont, and I said, so this was back when I was working in the Bay Area, and I said, so what's going on back there? And they're like, oh, we're having a layoff, you know. And I talked to my boss, and she says, your coworker Harry Wiener, that was actually his name, your coworker Harry Wiener's been laid off. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm putting in 12-hour days and you laid off the only guy that was helping me? So now I'm going to have to do all this alone. Forget it. I'm back to 8 hours. So me and Stephanie had a good conversation on that day. But I also got a hold of the operator and I said, okay, I want to talk to Tom Kendig. Tom was a friend of mine from his days at Genrad, and also, you know, he worked at Credence. And so the operator says, I'm sorry, Tom's not around anymore. He got laid off today. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He's the only guy working on TesterTools. He's the apps guy who's developing TesterTools. So what am I gonna do? So they let me talk to his boss, and I talked to his boss, and I said, so what's going on with TesterTools? You know, these guys in Oudenaarde are expecting me to update them on the fixes we're gonna put in for this software. And he says, the company made a strategic decision. We're going to stop development on TesterTools. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. These customers, they just bought TesterTools and now they want enhancements. And you guys laid off Tom, the only guy who could do it. And you've decided to shut down the tool that they just bought? That's crazy. So, but that was it for them. So I called up Jan and I said, hey, Jan, you know, here's the deal, you know. They're asking me for all these updates on TesterTools, and I just found out Tom Kendig's been laid off. So what are we going to tell him? You know, what am I going to tell him tomorrow? He's like, don't say anything. I'll talk to him about it later. I'm like, okay. I guess I can't get out of the country fast enough. So I went back and I said, I don't really have an update. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I was lying, of course. Because Jan told me that. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Because that would blow up in my face, you know. They're paying for training, and then they're paying for TesterTools, and they're going to take it away from them. So it was crazy. So I finished up the class on TesterTools. Oudenaarde was a terrible place. I had dinner there twice. One night I had a full French dinner. It took 3 hours, little tiny servings, cut it up, you know. You wait 3 hours, you have a little tiny meal, and it took forever. Forget it. And so the next night I went out to the pubs, and the only thing they served was toast. Toast with this or toast with that, but never like a hamburger in it. I'll take a hamburger on toast. They don't have that. 24 varieties of toast is all you can get. It's crazy. So I wasn't really a fan of Oudenaarde. They finally came back 3 days later, picked me up, took me out of there, took me back to Amsterdam, and put me up in a super nice hotel. Super nice. God, it must have been, I think it was $250 a night. That was back in the 1990s. So $250 a night for this huge room, but I wasn't paying. It wasn't my money. So, and that's where they took me, so I didn't have a choice. So I roamed around Amsterdam a little bit, got a look at what it was like, but crazy, crazy. So I don't trust anybody making a piece of software that hasn't been in business for a long, long time. And Microsoft has been making Excel for a long time. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a salesman for Excel, but let me tell you, I worked on TesterTools. That's gone. That was gone the day I was in Oudenaarde, you know. I worked on something called the AWT, which is the analog wave tool at Credence. Credence is toast. They're now part of LTX, and I've used other tools. The Teradyne, a terrible, terrible tool for mixed signal. So, I mean, you know, looking all around, you know, MATLAB, I don't know. I've never used it. LabVIEW, it's terrible. But Excel, I've got a good handle on Excel. I can do a lot of stuff on Excel. And you can too. And if you want to get a hold of my files, I'll let you have them. You can go in and do all kinds of fun experiments. But that's why I'm not too keen on using this tool or that tool. Because you invest a lot of time and effort on learning a tool, and then poof, it vaporizes, it goes away, the guy gets laid off, and you lose everything. This is funny as hell. When I worked for Schlumberger, they had all these Schlumberger testers at Intel, and at Intel they all had Sun workstations that didn't run Intel chips, right? They all had these Sun workstations, and they used, one of the cool things about Sun was you could change the icons for any particular application. And so the application for ASAP, which was the graphical user interface for the Schlumberger tester, that could be changed to anything. Most people change it to be a bomb, just like the old bomb on the Apple when it like blew up when the computer crashed. You'd get a bomb on the screen. That's the kind of bomb that they used, and so that was the way. That was the kind of attitude that Intel had for that software. ASAP software was a bomb. You were going to blow up. It was going to blow up. Just make sure and save everything you could while you're in there working on it, because it's likely to blow up. And it was. I mean, it was very complicated software. So yeah, it could blow up any time. So I don't trust anybody. I mean, Excel is pretty good. I've had Excel blow up on me too, and lose a bunch of my edits, but I'm pretty good at saving. I know better than to like let it go forever, you know, especially on a PC. On a Mac, they usually, most of the applications auto-save as you go. So even if like iMovie crashes on me, I open it back up and it's all back where it was when I was using it. So it auto-saves automatically. Anyway, so that's why I'm big on Excel. I don't like Microsoft. I really despise Microsoft. But I like Excel because It's been around for years and years, and it's likely to be around for many years to come. Okay? So once again, from the river, this is Dan Bullard. See ya.